Chapter 3. Cricket for the Crocodile. Ranji was supposed to be preparing for his exams only a fortnight away, but he couldn't resist two more games before getting down to history and algebra and other unexciting things. "I am going to be a test cricketer when I grow up," he told his mother. "Of what use will maths be to me?" "You never know," said his mother, who happened to be more of a cricket fan than his father. "You might need maths to work out your batting average. And as for history, wouldn't you like to be a part of history? Famous cricketers make history. Making history is all right," said Ranji, "as long as I don't have to remember the date on which I make it." Since the park was not available, Ranji and his friends would play on the river bank against their rivals, the village boys. The match was to be held on the following Sunday. The village team was quite good because the boys lived near each other and practiced a lot together, whereas Ranji's team was drawn from all parts of the town. Sometimes, their fathers also turned up for a game. They weren't very good, but you couldn't tell them that. After all, they helped to provide bats and balls and pocket money. A regular spectator at these matches was Naku, the crocodile, who lived in the river. Naku means nosy, but the village boys were very respectful and called him Nakuji, or Naku, sir. He had a long snout, rows of ugly-looking teeth, some of them badly in need of fillings, and a powerful scaly tail. He was nearly 15 feet long, but you did not see much of him. He swam low in the water and glided smoothly through the tall grasses near the river. Sometimes, he came out on the river bank to bask in the sun. He did not care for people, especially cricketers. He disliked the noise they made, frightening away the water birds and other creatures required for an interesting menu. And it was also alarming to have cricket balls plopping around in the shallows where he liked to rest. The following Sunday morning, Ranji hurried out of the house with Nattu, carrying his bat and a thermos of lime juice thoughtfully provided by his mother. "Have got the stumps?" he asked Nattu, who was at the gate. "Sundar has them. And the ball?" "Yes. And Anil's father is bringing one too, provided he opens the batting." Nattu rode while Ranji sat on the crossbar with the bat and the thermos. Anil was waiting for them outside his house. When the boys reached the slopes of the river bank, they were astonished by what they saw. They gaped in awe at their cricket pitch. Across it, basking in the soft warm sunshine, was Naku, the crocodile. "I don't think it wants us to play," said Sheru. "We'll have to get him off," said Ranji. "You'd better keep out of the reach of his tail and jaws," said Sheru. "We'll wait until he goes away," said Prem. But Naku showed no signs of wanting to leave. The pebbles the boys threw at Naku had no effect. They simply bounced off his tough hide. They tried mud balls and an orange. Naku twitched his tail and opened one eye but refused to move on. Then, Prem took a ball and bowled a fast one at the crocodile. It bounced just short of Naku and caught him on the snout. Startled and stung, he wriggled off the pitch and moved rapidly down the river bank into the water. There was a mighty splash as he dived for cover. When the grown-ups arrived, no one mentioned the crocodile, just in case the adults decided to call the match off. After inspecting the wicket, which Naku had left in fair condition, Sheru and Ranji tossed a coin. Ranji called, "Heads," but it came up, "Tails." Sheru chose to bat first. The tall Delhi player came out to open the innings with little money, who was bowled for a duck in the third over. But the tall fellow showed no signs of getting out. He hit 2 more boundaries and then swung one, hard and high, towards the river. Naku, who had been sulking in the shallows, saw the ball coming towards him. He opened his jaws wide and with a satisfying clunk, the ball lodged between his back teeth. Naku got his teeth deep into the cricket ball and chewed. Revenge was sweet. And the ball tasted good, too. The combination of leather and cork was just right. Naku decided that he would snap up any other balls that came his way. The bank manager produced a new ball and insisted that he would bowl with it. The match continued and the score mounted steadily. Natu's father, who was keeping wicket, dropped a catch and made up for it later. The innings ended with a modest total of 145 runs. "Lunch first," said the bank manager, and they took a half-hour break. Soon, the picnic was in full swing with patties, pakora, carrot halwas, savory rice and sauces of all kinds. No one noticed that Naku, using some tall reeds as cover, had crept halfway up the river bank. Those delicious food smells had reached him, too. After lunch, the bank manager strode out to the wicket in the company of young Natu. Sheru opened the bowling for the village team. The tall Delhi player took up bowling from the other end. The bank manager had his bat raised and the ball took his middle stump. "A fly got in my eye," he muttered. "I wasn't ready. Flies everywhere." And he swatted angrily at flies that no one else could see. He walked to the banyan tree and lowered himself into the cot respectfully brought for him by the villagers, rather gingerly. It creaked but took his weight. Soon, he was fast asleep. The flies did not seem to bother him anymore. There were a couple of good partnerships till Mani got a ball to spin sharply and Natu was out. Then, Natu's father, the baker, scored 2 and was run out while trying to make another 2. So intent was everyone on watching the cricket that no one noticed that Naku had crept further up the river bank to slide beneath the cot on which the bank manager was sleeping. There was just room enough for Naku to get between the legs of the cot. It was not long before Naku dozed off too. The score reached 140. Only 6 runs were needed for the victory. Ranji decided to do it in style and he drove the ball hard and high towards the banyan tree. Thump! It struck Naku on the jaw and loosened one of his teeth. Naku lunged forward, tail thrashing and jaws snapping. The cot, with the manager still on it, rose with him. Crocodile and cot were now jammed together, and when Naku rushed forward, he took the cot with him. The bank manager woke up to find the cot pitching violently from side to side. "Help!" he shouted. "Help!" The boys scattered in all directions, for the crocodile was now advancing down the wicket, knocking over stumps and digging up the pitch. As he went he swallowed a sun hat and a glove. A batsman's pad was caught up on his tail. "Come on, boys! Help!" the bank manager shouted, hanging onto the cot. "Get me off!" The cot remained firmly attached to the crocodile, and so did the bank manager. The problem was solved when Naku made for the river and plunged into its familiar water. The bank manager tumbled into the water and scrambled up the bank, while Naku made for the opposite shore. When on their way back home, Sheru offered a return match the following week. None of the grown-ups seemed to be free. Ruskin Bond, glossary, couldn't resist, couldn't stop himself. Spectator, Audience. Snout. Nose. Bask in the sun. Enjoy lying in the sun. Menu. Here, the different creatures available as food. Gaped in awe. Stared with their mouths open because they were most surprised. Hide. An animal skin. Twitched. Made a sudden, quick movement. Wriggled. Moved away by twisting and turning his body. Sulking. Looking angry. Modest. Not very big. Swatted. Hit the flies using his hand. Gingerly. Carefully, so as not to get hurt. Lunged forward. Make a sudden, powerful, forward movement. Thrashing. Moving violently. Pitching. Moving.